Hey friends, it is me, Mrs. Eddy, and we are jumping back into our book. Stella Diaz has something to say. Today we are reading chapters 12 and 13. Chapter 12. Winters are very cold in Chicago. Sometimes it's hard to even want to leave the house. It was so cold on Christmas that we just stayed home. Plus, Mom had to work some on Christmas Eve. Luckily, New Year's Day isn't too cold. Mom decided we should do something special and celebrate in the Wisconsin Dells. Even though we have trees near our house, I never see as many trees as when we're in Wisconsin. The woods are so pretty, and there are so many winter activities, more than we could ever do in Chicago. Also, I am pretty happy to get away. I don't want to think about the presentation or school. Don't you want to go to Jamaica instead? I suggest to Mom. Jamaica is much farther away, I think. Mom just laughs. I wish, she says. How about when you become a famous explorer or artist, we'll go? As I imagine deep sea diving, or better yet, my artwork on display in a museum, I feel okay about not going to Jamaica quite yet. Our favorite activity in Wisconsin Dells is snowshoeing. So we go to the So we go to the moment we arrive. Our favorite activity in Wisconsin Dells is snowshoeing. There we go. The moment we arrive, sorry. First, you have to wear these shoes that look like gigantic tennis rackets. They help you trek across the snow and also make you look sort of funny when you are walking. We look like penguins, Mom says as we waddle in our snowshoes. I think we look like humpback whales because we are puffy from our clothes, I say. No, we look like spies, says Nick. Except if this were a spy movie, we would wear all white and we'd be running away from the bad guys who wear all black, I say. Mom shakes her head. If you were wearing all white, I couldn't see you. I want to be able to see my niños. Because snowshoes are heavy, Mom and Nick are able to walk much faster than I can. After a while, I fall behind. Hey, slow down, I say, panting. Let's look at that word panting really quickly. So, panting is when you're trying to catch your breath, you're out of breath. Sorry, Slowpoke, Nick calls back. I groan. He turns around to look at me. You better walk faster, too. Everyone knows that Bigfoot lives here. He especially likes to eat little girls. You're lying. He's not real. I stomp my foot. Then I take a quick glance around. Ooh, let's look at that word glance. So a glance is a quick look. Just a quick glance around. Then I take a quick glance around. It's eerily quiet. Come on, let's go. Walk a little faster, Stella. There's so much to do today, Mom says. Nick likes to scare me sometimes. He told me once when we were going swimming that there were alligators in the lake. It scared me so much I couldn't go in the water for the rest of the day. When we got home, I researched alligators. Turns out there are there are no alligators in Illinois. When I showed Nick the website, he just shrugged and said, "You never know." Now I am pretty sure that Bigfoot isn't real, but I can hear branches moving. It's probably just the wind, but I'm going to double check when I get home. I yell, "Mom!" and run to catch up with them. I keep up, but after a while I start feeling tired. Looking out for Bigfoot and wearing snowshoes is exhausting. Nick, can you carry me? He squats down and I jump on his back. I'm only doing this because we look bigger and more intimidating to Bigfoot, he says. All right, let's look at that word intimidating. So intimidating means scary looking. So I definitely wouldn't want to mess with this intimidating looking lion. That's for sure. I'm only doing this because we look bigger and more intimidating to Bigfoot, he says. I can't see his face, but I know his secret smirk is there. I giggle and hug his neck a little tighter. It's hard to stay mad at Nick for too long. Stella, we're almost to the car, Mom says, patting Nick's head. We'll grab lunch and then we'll have more fun. During the car ride, I noticed some little huts on the lake. These are for the ice fishers. Seeing them reminds me of my school project about ocean life. I haven't told Mom or Nick about the new presentation part of the project. I don't want them to think I can't do it or handle it. I think Nick would make fun of me, and Mom has enough problems with work. I don't want to make her worry when she doesn't have to. Are you thinking about your project? Mom asks. She can magically tell what I'm thinking without me telling her. Yup, I say quietly. Mom? Yes, Stella. Do you ever get nervous talking in front of large crowds? No, why? She replies. I sigh. That's not what I was hoping to hear. Just curious. Really? Never? She pauses. Not really. Your abuelo was a performer. I was just used to seeing that. Her response doesn't make me feel better. In fact, I feel a little worse. Thankfully, Nick says, Oh, good, there's the restaurant. After a hot lunch, we walk around downtown Dells. Even though it's New Year's, the streets are still covered in Christmas decorations of snowflakes, reindeer, and snowmen. I start to wonder how we could celebrate the holidays in Mexico. I can't picture Mexico City in snow. I am almost pretty sure a snowman would just melt there. So I ask, Mom, what did you do for Christmas in Mexico? Nothing like this. It's too warm there. We just celebrated with our family and friends. Actually, Three Kings Day is kind of a bigger deal in Mexico than Christmas for kids. Really? I've never heard of it, says Nick. It's fun. You leave your shoes out, and the three wise men leave you presents overnight. Can we do that next year? I ask. Nick says, Yeah, I want more presents. Well, we live in the States. I just didn't think to do it. I wanted you guys to fit in. I sigh. I think to myself, but I don't fit in, Mom. I am different from the people in my class. I'm an alien. Suddenly, I picture Poncho swimming alone in his fish tank. He can't be around other fish, but he also can't live outside of the water. He doesn't belong anywhere either. Chapter 13. Ring, ring! It's Dad, yells Nick after he answers the phone. I run over. Really? I whisper. It's January and we just spoke to him on Christmas. He usually never calls this soon after Christmas. Nick nods. He covers the phone. He's going to be in Chicago in a couple months for work. He also wants to know whether we got our Christmas presents. Our Christmas presents this year were more gloves and socks from Tio's store. Big surprise. Also, like usual, they look like nothing we'd ever wear, and they don't fit right. I put my ear to the phone and listen with Nick. Yes, we got our presents, says Nick. Good. Got to make sure my niños are warm. Then Dad says, You know I'd do anything for you guys. Nick rolls his eyes. Good thing we're not on video. When school starts back up after winter break, it's so cold we actually end up using some of our new gloves and socks. Sadly, Jenny's not there. She has a cold, which means I have to have lunch without her, and it's a little scary. I'm not really friends with anyone else, so I'm not sure where to sit. At lunchtime, I look around the cafeteria. My options are slim. I also know that I can't eat anywhere near Jessica. I scan the room, looking from table to table, searching for a friendly face when I finally spot Lauren, who is reading another Nancy Drew book. Yes, I think. When I walk over, Lauren makes room for me without my even asking. I nod my head. This will be good, I think. We both like being quiet. To my surprise, though, Lauren is pretty chatty today. She asks, How's your ocean life project? It's good, I say. My drawings do look good. It's the presentation I'm worried about. I pause and look at Lauren. She looks so excited, like she has a secret she wants to share. So I ask her, "How is your project?" I've been trying to ask more questions, as Jenny suggested. It's working some, especially with Lauren. She leans in. "Well, my project is great. Don't tell anyone, but I'm going to bring in my uncle's parrot for the presentation. Miss Ms. Bell said it was okay." She sits up a little taller. "That's really cool." She nods. Lauren looks so proud. I don't mean to, but I frown for a split second. I don't know how Miss Bell could have agreed to this. It's simply not fair. A parrot can talk and sing. That's like presenting with a partner whom you know everyone will like. What am I going to do? I can't bring Poncho. I love him, but he doesn't talk. Most people would get bored just watching him swim. Maybe I can be like the wizard in The Wizard of Oz and do my whole presentation from behind a curtain. Recess is much harder than lunch without Jenny. It's too cold to be outside, so recess is in the gym. It feels lonelier there because everyone is closer together than we would be on the playground. When Jenny is not there on a warm day, I can just hide underneath a slide. I decide to bring my notebook and pen to recess. I am determined to figure out my presentation. So I sit on the bleachers and open the notebook to a blank page. I write "presentation" on top in big letters. I underline it 3 times. I think, then think, and think. Nada. Nothing. Frustrated, I close the notebook. As I start looking around the gym, I see Jessica playing jump rope with a few of the girls. It looks like fun, but I feel too shy to ask to play. Plus, I don't want to deal with Jessica. Unfortunately, Jessica notices that I'm looking. She curls her lips. "Stella Stairs is staring." "Maybe she's stupid," says Bridget. I bunch my fingers into little fists by my sides when I hear the word stupid. I can feel my heart pounding like drums in my chest. I feel hot, roja with anger. People can say I'm strange or different, but I am not stupid. I stand up without thinking and say in a loud voice, "I'm not stupid." Jessica's eyes get big for a second. She looks surprised, even a little nervous. But that only lasts a moment. Bridget starts laughing, and Jessica joins in. Thankfully, Stanley walks over with Ben and asks them if they want to play tag. "Do you want to play, Stella?" Stanley asks, turning to me. "That's okay, Stanley," I say quietly as I sit back down. If he'd asked if I want to play hide and seek, I might have said yes. I'm really a good hider, and today feels like a good hiding day. When I get home, I lie on the rug in the living room. Feeling alone is very tiring. I wish I could just move back to Mexico. Then I realize I wouldn't have been able to defend myself there like I did today. I would have just replied in English to some mean kid who was speaking Spanish. At least Jessica understood me. That's it. As soon as Mom gets home, I'm going to ask exactly how to say "I'm not stupid" in Spanish. Nick walks over to the computer, sits down, and turns it on. "Rough day at school?" he asks as he starts to play a video game. I sit next to him. "Nick?" "Yep," he says. He's staring at the screen, so it feels easier to talk to him. "Did you know we're aliens?" He gets quiet. He pauses the game and looks at me. "You know that's not like aliens in outer space. You're not E.T." "I know that, but it still means we're different." "Okay, yeah, it sounds bad, but it's really not." He opens a new window on the computer and types. Then he points to the screen. It's a very official government-looking website. "See, here's the definition. Alien is an individual who is not a U.S. citizen or U.S. national." I bite my lip and nod. Seeing that didn't really help. Nick gets another idea and types something else on the keyboard. A new window pops up. "Look, And the word alien is derived from the Latin word alienus, which means stranger or foreign. I look at him. That doesn't make me feel better. Okay, so we're aliens, but you're not a weirdo. You're my sister, mi hermana. But then, why do kids at school say I'm weird? Today, one of them even said I was stupid, which is not the truth. I cross my arms. Nick's face looks sad. I never really told him before that kids make fun of me sometimes. Sis, you're not stupid. You are the coolest, smartest, almost 9-year-old I know. You're just saying that, I say, looking at the ground. No, I'm not, he says, lifting up my chin. Plus, so-called aliens, he says, putting air quotes around aliens, are some of the smartest people. Albert Einstein was an alien. He was from Germany. He's pretty smart and cool, right? I nod. Ginny's mom is an alien. I nod again. That's true. And if she hadn't moved here, I might never have met Jenny, which would have been terrible. Plus, I'm an alien and I'm the coolest, right? He says, putting his hand on his chest. I move my hands side by side. So. Nick laughs and continues. Aliens are just people from different places, and different places can be awesome. Can you imagine if we were born here? If we weren't Mexican, Mom wouldn't know how to make albondigas. I gasp. I hadn't considered that. Or worse, we'd just call them meatballs instead, and they would be boring meatballs, sin sabor, without flavor. That makes me feel a little better. I like it when Nick listens to me. Still, I can't help but feel scared thinking about the presentation. What's the frown about? He asks. Nick is being so understanding that I just blurted out. I have to do a presentation with my fish project. I have to speak for a whole 5 minutes in front of the class. I'm nervous, I confess, dropping my head into my hands. All right, let's look at that word confess really quickly. So confess means to admit or tell a secret. So she's confessing something she hasn't told anyone else. I confess, dropping my head into my hands. I remember the first time I had to do that. It was scary. I look up. I can't even picture Nick being nervous. He's so good at school presentations. Once I saw him do a debate in front of the whole school. I have no idea what to do, I say, scratching my head. Well, first of all, we will practice. I sigh. Yeah, I know. It sounds silly, but it helps. Then he pauses for a good minute. And maybe Mom can take us to the shed aquarium. The shed aquarium! Nick is the smartest! We've never been, but I've always wanted to go. It's all the way in downtown Chicago. It's the largest aquarium in the world. It was the largest aquarium in the world for the longest time. I throw my arms around him. All right, he says, hugging me back. I can see the small smirk on his face. It'll be good. We can do some research and get some ideas for your presentation. Yes, I exclaim. And don't worry, I'll help you, sis, he says, then nudges me. He puts 2 fingers above his head like antennas. We aliens got to stick together. And that's the end of chapter 13. All right, so let's look at what we have learned about our characters in these 2 chapters. So, Stella thinks Wisconsin is pretty and has more winter activities than Chicago, thinks they look like humpback whales while they snowshoe, has a hard time keeping up while snowshoeing, is nervous about her presentation, sits with Lauren at lunch since Jenny is sick, is angry when Bridget says she's stupid, is good at hide and seek but doesn't like tag, and she's going to ask Mom how to say I'm not stupid in Spanish. Oh, here we go. All right, then Mom had to work some on Christmas Eve, took Stella and Nick to Wisconsin Dells, thinks they look like penguins when they snowshoe, can magically tell what Stella is thinking, and tells Nick and Stella about Three Kings Days. Three Kings Day. All right. Nick thinks they look like spies when they snowshoe, teases Stella about Bigfoot eating little girls, carries Stella when she gets tired, explains what an alien is, reassures Stella that she is not stupid, and suggests they visit the Shed Aquarium to do research for Stella's project. Then we did have a little bit in there about Dad. So, Dad called Nick and Stella on New Year's. He sent socks and gloves from Tio's store for Christmas, and he is coming to Chicago in a few months. All right, friends, that is the end of our review of chapters 12 and 13. So, I'll see you back here for the next chapters. Bye!